Janette's TV podcast. I'm your host, Janette Burke. Today we're coming at you from the Santa Barbara Film Festival in Santa Barbara, California, with one of its movie screening features, Row of Life. Row of Life follows renowned ocean rower, Marine Corps veteran, 3-time Paralympian, and 14-time Guinness Book World Record holder, Angela Madsen. In 2020, Angela attempted to row solo and unassisted across the Pacific Ocean 2,400 miles from Los Angeles to Hawaii. What unfolds is a harrowing story of her determination, resilience, and immense courage to pursue the unknown, and the undying support of Angela's wife, Deb, who, separated by a vast ocean, champions Angela's dream despite the cost. And here with me to talk about this documentary movie is director Soraya Simi. Soraya Simi is an award-winning independent filmmaker, published writer, and entrepreneur. Her strength lies in directing, producing, and writing for film and television, with extensive experience in commercial work. Immediately graduating from the University of Southern California Film School, Soraya embarked on her very first documentary, This Film. This film was also executive produced by Sue Bird and co-produced with Together and Time Studios, and is going to be released in early 2025. Welcome to Janette's TV and podcast, Soraya. Now, before we begin today's interview, I want to remind my audience that if you haven't already done so, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is below, and you will always get great lifestyle and entertainment content that is geared towards savvy women over 40. Soraya, what inspired you to take on this story and the journey of Angela Madsen as your first film project, too?
Yeah, my first feature film out of film school. Angela inspired me, in short. I found her to be an incredibly captivating person. She was unlike anyone I had seen in a film before. And so to me, freshly emerged from film school, full of ambition and ready to make your mark, I just was so enthralled that I had a truly unique character to introduce into the world. And she really inspired me.
So you're part of the Santa Barbara Film Festival, which we are accredited media. And tell me a little bit how this film was selected to be shown in the festival.
Yes, so I feel like immensely fortunate that it was selected for the Santa Barbara Film Festival. I live in Santa Barbara, so it
Oh,
means
you do? How
so
nice. I mean,
much. It's amazing that it's a hometown screening for the world premiere because all of my loved ones get to be there, and I think there's something so magical. This film took 6 years to make, and it was challenging in every possible way. So it feels just right to give birth to it, so to speak, here at home. And yeah, it was selected. I mean, it's an incredible film festival. I'm in very good company with local filmmakers, but also internationally. There's something like 33 world premieres, and I think this festival has really made its mark as a premier level um, event, and we're so lucky to have this gorgeous American Riviera to experience it in. So can't complain.
yeah, I'm in Toronto, Canada, where we
Yeah,
just experienced some nasty winter weather.
sure.
And it's we have somebody joining us, entered the waiting room, Emma.
Oh, Falco, that's our publicist.
Okay. Um, so yeah, I'd love to be in Santa Barbara, California right now. And of course, I am full media accreditation here, but we're doing it virtually because I wasn't able to go to California. And of
Oh,
course, with the wildfires and everything, I don't know if that's affected the film festival at all because I think Santa Barbara's away from LA. But
yeah.
can you comment a little bit on that?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we are all devastated by the fires. It's our sister city right next door, and though physically we were unharmed from the fires, even our air quality wasn't so bad. Emotionally, it's a huge burden, and also just the necessity now for housing, I think, is going to change things a lot in Ventura, Santa Barbara, Ojai, these kinds of neighboring areas where now people are, I think, I don't know. I don't want to speak for people who've endured something I have not endured, but population density in a city is a difficult thing to reconcile with in a climate crisis. And so I think Santa Barbara will see a continued influx of people affected by the fires who are going to move here.
So let's get back to the actual film, Row for Life. And so, how do we get that title? How did you choose that title?
So Rove Life is it
Row
just
of Life, sorry.
yeah, it's the name of Angela's boat. So Angela had a 20-foot long ocean rowing boat, which is a vessel that's built to sustain human life at sea, arguably indefinitely.
Mhm.
Um, and this boat has no motor, no sail. It's a fully human-powered vessel to get from one coastline to another across an ocean. And she named that boat Rove Life. And it was a temporary title when we started making the film. And for reasons I can't quite give away yet, it'll make sense once you see the film. It really felt appropriate and it stuck because the row did really become a row about life more than anything else. And so it was symbolic in all the right ways.
Mhm. Okay, let's hear a little bit more about Angela herself. Okay, she has quite an impressive past and resume. She was a corporal, and she was also a paraplegic Olympian,
Yep.
and she also won. She's a Guinness World Book title holder 14 times over. Not many people could say that.
No, not at
Um,
all.
yes. So how did she get involved in all of this stuff? And how do you feel that she can impact other women with her spirit and her everything she's just been through?
Angela is a force of nature. When I say you do not meet one like her every day, I mean it. I've never met anyone like her since. She, at age 33, became paralyzed due to a botched surgery from the VA. So she was in the Marine Corps from the time she was 17, 18 until 23. She sustained an injury in the Marine Corps and had 10 years of degeneration on her spine
Oh.
until eventually she was admitted for surgery. And the reason I bring this specific information up is Angela was 33 years old by the time she became paralyzed, which means she went 33 years in her life being a fully able-bodied person, an athlete her entire life, an astounding athlete.
Mm.
And so I think that is something for everyone to just chew on for a minute of how
Yeah.
we take for granted our physicality in our bodies and what we can do. And she had that all taken away. And even still, she had this incredible astronomical rise as an athlete, this second act of her life, where it was after that she became an Olympic athlete. She medaled, she placed bronze, she did shot put, javelin, rowing. The list of accomplishments she has is like literally cannot keep track of it. There's too many. And she set world record after world record and did this without the use of the lower half of her body. And part of what really resonated with her on ocean rowing is the camouflage of it. When you're sitting on a rowing seat, people can't tell that you're paralyzed from the waist down. And I think Angela really appreciated that she could kind of disguise herself as such. And yeah, just an absolutely extraordinary person and athlete in every right.
And what made her want to take that sail from California up the Pacific Ocean to Hawaii? And not only like how did she navigate some of them? She went through a lot of turmoil in that
Yeah.
sail, and she almost didn't make it. So can you just comment a little bit about how, first of all, what made her want to do it, and then how was she able to navigate all that, to survive that and finish it.
Yeah, I mean, what drove Angela had to be something extremely, extremely deep and powerful. When you're alone in that level of isolation and severity of a circumstance, it's so extreme to live on the ocean. You have to be motivated by something more than just an accolade. I mean, yes, she was going to be the oldest woman and only paraplegic in the world to pull it off if she did accomplish it. But I think for Angela, there was something incredibly personal about the pursuit. Um, and I think a lot of it had to do with her feeling like in previous rows when she did it with teams, she maybe never got the credit that she felt she really deserved of
Mm.
what her contributions really were. And so to do it alone, solo, unassisted, no follow boat, no one else there, and say, look, in spite of the fact that I'm paralyzed from the waist down, I can do this. And that for her was personally very important. And I think it was to really shine a light for other people with disability and say, don't let the disability be the thing that gives you an excuse. You can do it, you can do anything. And so she really, I think that
So on the ride, you mentioned she was alone. She had no. How do you plan for something like that? And tell us a little bit about some of the things she encountered and how she was able to cope and carry on. Um, Others may not have been able to survive that.
so Angela, this she had rode every ocean already. She had a lot of experience. I mean, I think if you add it up, it was like almost a year of living at sea on ocean boats at this point in her life. So she uh yeah, you have enough food on board to feed yourself. You're losing a lot of weight because you're burning a lot of calories and you're not that hungry. You have a desalinator for ocean water. I mean, in a literal basis, like how do you survive? You need clean water and you need food and you need to rest. And so she did 2 hours on, 2 hours off. But then psychologically, how do you endure that loneliness and all of the, stuff gets broken, bad storms come, you get immensely lonely and maybe not so sure of what your ability level is. That's I have a harder time answering that for her. I mean, that's an immense level of tenacity and grit. I think that you train your mind over time. I think this is what extreme athletes have shown us time and again, people who summit Everest, people who do all of these incredible things. I mean, their mind, they're able to access a performance level that few of us in our day-to-day lives need to go there.
But she also had Deb, right? We can't not talk
Sure,
about it.
absolutely.
Deb was
Absolutely.
is her partner in life and a huge contribution to Angela making it through this. And
Absolutely.
even though they weren't together on this particular ride or sail of journey, Angela was with her every step of the way. It was almost like they had a strong mental, emotional connection. And it was almost like Deb was there, but of course she wasn't. So let's hear a little bit more about Deb's contribution to all of this.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. Um, this row was different for Angela in that this was the first time communication-wise she and Deb had enough satellite minutes on the Iridium satellite phone to communicate with each other as much as they wanted. They didn't have to be mindful of, oh, a text is $72 to send. So it's like they
Oh
were
wow, $72.
Iridium sponsored the row and gave us like 4,000 minutes, and that gave us unlimited time to call her. And yeah, that cannot be underestimated of what an impact that makes when your spouse, your life partner, who roots for you and knows you better than anyone is able to pick up the phone and give you a nod of motivation. So absolutely, Deb was there 24/7 for Angela. Knew had such a sense of the nuance when Angela wouldn't respond to something for too long, or she just always knew something was up and had a better sensitivity and intuition around what was going on. So I think Deb's support was invaluable. Deb was also basically like air traffic control on land. She was constantly surveying, other ships in the water, and she was in all chats with the meteorologists and all the folks who were advising Angela throughout the row. So to have someone with consistent internet access and like able to respond to things in a timely way, that can't be underestimated either. You do need a team on land, and if it's your life partner, that's even better.
Right. That's why I don't think I don't think we can underestimate Deb's role in all this. And
Not at all.
I I would say that maybe Angela had the success of completion because Deb was on her side. It's
Did
certainly
Angela
looking out for
she
her.
complete the row? Does she complete the row? We don't. Yeah, you'll have to see the film. There certainly is immense challenges that
Well,
are
I have asked you now 3 times to talk about some of those challenges. Like, can you just maybe elaborate on even one that was like a total roadblock that might have had other people saying, "Hey, I've had enough. I'm turning around. I'm going home."
Yeah, I mean, at no point did Angela quit. She, without, spoiling a huge point of the film, a major roadblock is a cyclone emerges on the radar, and Angela has to get out of her boat to make a repair to fix what would be the sea anchor so that she's able to weather the storm. And um, after which she goes offline, and we don't hear from her. So I can't give away what happens next, but yeah, that is the biggest challenge of what happened in the making of Row of Life and
And
in
that's a
Angela.
pretty big challenge. That's a pretty big roadblock, right? That's a big rock there to have to muster. Okay, I don't want you to divulge anything that you don't want to, or that would potentially ruin the film for people or not watching it or not seeing it. But before we get to where we're going to be able to see this film, I want to ask you a few other questions.
Of course.
So, um, Angela is an exemplary model of courage and bravery.
Mm.
And this is something some women lack in their life. How do you feel that Angela could be a role model for them? And what could they learn from her about being brave and courageous and pursuing your dreams?
Angela had a phrase that I liked. She said, "When in doubt, check it out." So it was like a catchphrase of her. And so the premise being, if there's something in life that's making you feel a little bit uneasy and you're not fully confident in your ability to venture into it, whatever that may be. She said that is an obligation to go check it out. Doesn't mean dive in head first and do the thing that you're most scared of. It means go sniff around the edges and do something to make it a little more digestible of what it is. And I just always appreciated that as a philosophy because it doesn't overwhelm you. It's just saying, go learn a little bit more about this thing that's so scary to you. And I would argue, of course, Angela is extremely brave, extremely courageous because I think she was scared. I think rowing an ocean alone is inherently a very scary thing to do. And I don't think she was an idiot about it in any way where this fearlessness or anything. I think she had a lot of fear and knew it was this immensely challenging thing she was going to try to go do, but wanted to give it a go anyway. And it wasn't like on a whim. There was a lot of um, training that led up to it and strategizing and just you break something down into a million smaller parts, I think is what I learned observing Angela, how you pull something off that's so big and scary is let's just sniff out the tiny little pieces leading up. So I've borrowed from that in my own life. That's helped me navigate even just the completion of this film, which was so big and like, okay, let's bust it into 20 million smaller pieces and see how we can accomplish it.
So, how do you see yourself and Angela being a voice for women, a source of female empowerment, um, a source of inspiration? How do you see that? Like, as you're making this film, and you know that it's a woman that's now over 40, and you've got other women over 40 coming
Sure.
to watch and
Totally.
looking,
Yeah.
how do you see that then? How do you see her as a
Oh,
voice and an
I
inspiration
think
for
she
women's
totally is.
empowerment?
I think she's such evidence of this second act in your life can be even more audacious than anything before it. And I think she is so much stronger because she's lived through such adversity and knew she proved to herself she survived a lot, everything that came before it. So I hope Angela is a point of inspiration for so many women who may feel marginalized, or in groups. For example, Angela's LGBTQ, she's a Marine veteran, she's paraplegic, she's a woman in sports, like a lot of those sort of oppressed groups. And it's not because of that, it's in spite of that. She's able to power through so much more and say, that's who I am, 100% authentically me, and I'm going, and same with Deb, this is who they are as people, and there's no apologizing for it. We're gonna go forward and do what we need to do. So, I hope Angela makes people feel more comfortable with who they are and shows them that there's still so much life left to live on this second half.
And so now what's the next thing for Angela? Like, how is she going to continue? Not, well, I guess not living her journey because she's already done the journey, but just living her true self, her authentic self, and continuing to be a beacon for all these underprivileged groups or marginalized
Sure.
groups that you mentioned.
I hope this film is a major amplification of her story. I hope uh, she gives voice to people that maybe don't feel that they're often reflected in a film setting. Um, and yeah, I hope that as many people nationwide, worldwide get to hear this story and about Angela's legacy and are moved by someone who against all odds, went and followed their dream. So that's my greatest hope for the film is as many people as possible see it.
And where will we be able to see this film? And when is it going to be released, or is it already released?
So we are doing the film festival tour and we're touring extensively. So all across the country and 100 cities in Europe. We have not locked in distribution yet. The film is actively for sale for distribution. So hopefully if we can be snapped up by a streamer, it will be on a platform that people can see it soon.
So, like Netflix, for example?
I certainly hope so. That would be amazing.
Okay, so you're basically out there pitching and hoping that's. But in the meantime, is there like a link or something on YouTube that people could go see it, even a clip of this movie? Not
No,
yet.
no, nothing is released. You'll have to come see it at a film festival to see it.
All right, so we mentioned you're in Santa Barbara Film Festival now. What's your next film festival?
We're doing Big Sky in Missoula, which is a beautiful documentary film festival. And then we'll do the Ocean Film Tour in Europe. So Germany and then a million cities after that there. And then a few, like, I mean, I think it's something like 70 film festivals and counting. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but nationwide. So if the best way is to log on to our website, rowoflifefilm.com, and see that screening schedule as we update it. And if it drops in a neighborhood near you, in a state near you, make it out. We would love, love, love to see you guys there.
And what about Canada? Who can't forget Canada?
I, yeah, and one of our executive producers is Canadian, so we're definitely hoping to do some Canadian screenings. I hope we do Toronto. That would be a blast. I've never gone to that festival.
Toronto, yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Hot Docs also because it's a
Yep, hot dogs.
documentary.
Totally. Yeah. So fingers crossed. We don't know yet if we're screening there, but I really hope so. That would be great.
Well, congratulations to you. We mentioned already that this is your inaugural film project. And so, in terms of you, what would you like to take on next after doing something of this magnitude?
Oh, I would love to actually continue to live in this Angela Row of Life universe. And right now I'm working with a writer on the scripted adaptation of the story, which I'm very excited about because the documentary really focuses specifically on the 2020 Pacific Ocean Row, and a scripted adaptation would allow us to go much more into Angela's backstory, her time in the Marine Corps, first batch of women in the 1970s admitted in the Marine Corps. She was a single mom. There's all sorts of elements that we just didn't make it into the final cut of the documentary that I would love to do a scripted adaptation for.
It's possible this movie will wind up, or this story rather, will wind up as on the big screen as movie
I hope
in
so.
local theaters. Oh, okay.
Totally. Yeah.
So there'll be the two aspects that we can see the documentary and possibly a feature film on it. Okay, well, it's been lovely chatting.
Thanks,
And
Janette.
good luck. You seem to have an incredible career ahead of you, and I'm
Thank you.
happy to see it because it young female filmmakers kind of a rarity. I know you're up and coming, but it's nice to see that you're going to have a strong role here, and hopefully in future films, and that you can shape the narrative for strong stories representing strong women who are also being watched by strong women, and that we can all learn
Amen.
from each other. That'd be
Amen,
great.
sister. That sounds great to me. So thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I only wish you the best, and for all
Thank you.
these film festivals you're going. And maybe one day I'll see you in Toronto.
Yes, please. We would love to see you there. So we'll talk to you so soon. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you so
Have a good
much.
one. Bye, Jeanette.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for being with us today on Janette's TV podcast. I'm your host, Janette Burke. Please remember to like, comment, and share all our posts with your fellow savvy women over 40. And also reminding you that you can support us in one of two ways as we continue to bring you the best lifestyle and entertainment content for women over 40 on the internet. You can either support us through Patreon. No donation is too big or too small. Or you can purchase a Janette's TV and Podcast t-shirt or sweatshirt with either the JTV logo and tagline or an inspirational saying made by me and a previous guest in a previous episode. Choice is yours. You pick your color, you pick your size, and you pick what you want. And all orders contain shipping and handling and are conveniently sent straight to your front door. This is Janette Burke signing off. And until next time, continue to be fabulous.